Hey, what's up? I'm going to help you figure out what counts as good evidence for a claim, your TOK exhibition. Let's get an A in TOK. All right, first of all, this video is brought to you by me/you. If you want some help with TOK, you can check me out on Fiverr. There's some links below. I can help you brainstorm. I can give you feedback. I will not write the essay for you, but yeah, check it out there. I can provide so much feedback that you die because you're so happy with how bad I rip your paper apart. I'm just kidding. I'll be really nice. And if you want to meet me on Zoom, I'll be nice with you on Zoom as well. But yeah, let's figure this out. TOK exhibition. I have a whole bunch of samples as well. This is one that I wrote based on this prompt, so please don't steal it because half the stuff is like about me. So cool, let's get started. Okay, so first I have an introduction, and if you see my other video, you totally don't need you don't need an introduction, but you can do one. This is 38 words. I don't want to go any longer than this, but I'm going to give you something specific that is helpful to know. This exhibition explores how one piece of evidence may not be sufficient for being called good. So I'm going to talk about everything in here. Everything in here is going to be not enough until it works with something else. I will claim that the interaction between multiple ways of knowing, notice I don't capitalize there because TOK kicked WOKs out of the course guide, perspectives, and tests for truth can create evidence that is good. So it's very short, but I'm telling you my unique focus. My unique focus is interactions between ways of knowing, perspectives, and tests for truth. All right, let's look at object number one. Okay, first of all, I've got a whole bunch of samples. If you want to download it, you can go to getanaintok.com/free stuff. I've got organizers there, which is what I use to make this. And you can see some other examples, and you can get some TOK essay help as well. So if you want some free stuff, go to getanaintok.com/free stuff. So this is my first object, and by the way, I don't have the baseball with me, but this is exactly what my baseball looks like. So you remember it needs to be a specific thing. And it will make sense here, but just you wouldn't have known that the picture's wrong, but here we go. Okay, this is the baseball that I got signed by King Griffey Jr. when I was 5. This ball is undoubtedly worth hundreds, yet I'll never sell it. It is such a rare item that, here's the claim. Some might doubt my claim that Griffey signed it for me, so that's my claim. I'm getting it right in there, what a claim could be, and instead believe that I purchased it. I have good evidence for claiming that Griffey signed my ball. Okay, so what I've done here, and this is vital if you look at the rubric, you need to establish what is the object, and then also what is the context of the object. The object has to have a specific real-world context because the entire point of this assignment is to take TOK out of this weird analysis world and put it in the real world. Okay, that's why they created this assignment and got rid of the old TOK presentation. They thought it was too much up here and not out there. So in 5 lines, I have said, here's my object, and here's the context. Okay, let's go on. Now I'm going to connect the object to the IA prompt, which is, I forgot to say it, what counts as good evidence for a claim? Though memories are often unreliable, they can count as good evidence when they are combined with other things. This is English, grade 9. This is a topic sentence. I have a vivid memory of the Arizona evening when Griffey signed my ball, and I have told this story often. But is this good evidence by itself? Probably not. If you've seen some of my examples, you know I love rhetorical questions. But more importantly, I have testimony to back up my memory. My father was with me and can attest that my memory corresponds to what he saw. Finally, so that's the second thing, memory plus testimony. Okay, now I'm going to bring up one more thing. Finally, let me fix my screen here. Finally, if you look closely, you'll notice that the autograph is smeared. I was so excited to have the ball that I touched it and smeared it. This is embarrassing, but also is good evidence that the ball was given to me by Griffey and not purchased. There is empirical evidence that differentiates this from something a store would sell. So what I've done here is I've gone back to what I say in the introduction. I'm connecting my object to the prompt. Here's how this wouldn't be good evidence, but then here's how it would. Memory by itself isn't good evidence, but memory with a testimony and empiricism, that contributes to be a good piece of evidence for a claim. So now basically I'm just going to say what I just said. Memory, testimony, and empiricism can collaborate to make good evidence for a claim. Without this collaboration, I'm sure some wouldn't believe me. Even if my memories were correct and I was telling the truth, others may not believe my claim based only on my memory. Again, talking about my interaction. That is why the third person testimony is so important, because my memory corresponds to how my dad tells a story. And by the way, the correspondence test is a test for truth. And because there is a perceivable uniqueness about the ball that matches my story, I have good evidence for claiming that Griffey signed my baseball. What I do, and I always do this, you should do this every single time, is end your response, the last paragraph, the last sentence, or just make a new paragraph, one sentence, directly address and answer the IA prompt. Okay, looking at object 2. Object 2 is an image, and my object is this image. And so I'm not talking about what's going on, the situation. I'm actually talking about this image itself and how this image conveys knowledge, okay? So I'm not talking about, for example, the people in this image. I'm talking about the people who made this image. Okay, object 2, introduce the context. This is an image from Fox News that photoshopped 3 photos into one. The image was intended to support the claim, so here's the claim, that the Capitol Hill anonymous zone was being hit with looting. So as you can see here, this photo is obviously photoshopped, but it went on the Fox News website and they claimed that there was some crazy violence happening. But I'm from Seattle and I knew something wasn't up with this. Check it out. This photo shocked me, not because of the claim of violence in Seattle, it happens all the time, but because I know there isn't an Old Navy in Capitol Hill. It's miles away downtown. There is also obviously a fade between the broken window and the background, and the gunman is also multiple times larger than the other people in this image. This photo is obviously doctored, so now I'm talking about the claim itself. So again, this guy, terrible Photoshop job, and then there's like a fade right here. You've got these people, and then yeah, so it's just this is ugly. This is sloppy, Fox. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the evidence for the claim. We're going to directly address how this photo adds to the exhibition. Sorry, my laptop fan just turned on. This image presents something that does not count as good evidence for a claim. Fox eventually took down this photo and apologized for being misleading. Fox wanted to claim that the events in the Chaz were dangerous, and they may have been, but when technology is used to manipulate media, it may be considered good evidence by those who are uninformed, and lots of people believe this. But when technological manipulation is revealed, if it doesn't match the knowledge of authorities and what is visible in the world, it is not good evidence for a claim. So now I am saying how we know something is not good. So what I've done first is I talked about what is good. Now I'm talking about what makes something not good. So one of the worst things you can do in the TOK exhibition is to have all 3 responses say essentially the same thing. You want to explore. You don't want to answer. So look at what my last 2 paragraphs say. To be considered good evidence, an image must match observable reality, so that's the correspondence test, and what people already know. That would be connecting with what people in Seattle knew. I know there's not an Old Navy on Capitol Hill. This image does neither of these. There is not an Old Navy on Capitol Hill, so it does not match reality. And it does not match what people already know. Many people attested that there was not looting or violence at this level in the Chaz. In fact, these photos, this is crazy, were taken from stock image provider Getty Images from different months in different parts of Seattle. So while there probably was looting and violence going on, it didn't look like this because this didn't happen in Capitol Hill. So it doesn't connect with the real world, and it doesn't connect with what people already know. Okay, the last paragraph, I'm just going to close it up really well. Since this image fails both of these tests for truth and is clearly manipulated digitally, it does not count as good evidence for the claim of looting in the Chaz. Looting in the Chaz, it sounds like a weird, bad movie with The Rock. Okay, so again, that paragraph, just a few words. How long is it? It is 30 words that specifically answers the prompt. I'm basically repeating it, but in a very short way. Okay, this last object is something personal, and that's a picture of my dad in there. Hi, Dad. I know you don't watch these videos. And my dad and Seth Meyers. And if you have a photo of yourself, just go ahead and put a smiley face, block your face out. I teach in Asia, And I really think sometimes my students get marked down just because they're not native English speakers, and I have no proof of that. But I always say we should try to hide who we are. Okay. So anyway, this is my dad, and I don't want to send him a picture of my dad to the IB, but I love this example, and this was actually inspired by one of the students that I have tutored for on Fiverr. Hit me up, and he had a picture of his dad with the Pope. And I'm like, oh, that's such a good object. And he wrote basically what I write here, and it's just so good. So I wanted to share this one with you, but for obvious reasons, I'm not going to share something that another student wrote. So here's my dad with Seth Meyers. Again, this is a photo, okay? The third object is a photo that my dad sent me of him and comedian Seth Meyers, a famous late-night TV show host in America. Bam! 25 words, I've established the context. Here's who's in it. And it was a photo sent to me, okay? I was not there, and I'm not talking about my dad meeting Seth Meyers. I'm not talking about my dad. I'm not talking about Seth Meyers. I'm actually talking about this image itself. I was shocked when my dad sent me this photo claiming, it's a claim, that he met Seth Meyers. I was so excited. But as I explored in my second object, is a photo good evidence for a claim? Okay, I'm gonna stop there. The IB has communicated that you do not have to compare between objects. But with that said, if you want to do it a little bit, if there is a natural point of comparison, I say do it. But don't think that you are required to, or even that you should have a paragraph of comparison for each point. That would be awesome for the TOK essay. I wouldn't do it here. I mention it, and then I'm going to go on. What about a photo in the world in which Photoshop and deepfakes are common? After thinking about this photo, and exploring the necessity of a photo to correspond to events and existing knowledge, object 2, I asked myself why I believe that this photo was true, thus a single photo was good evidence, when I tend to not believe other similar photos found online. So again, I'm bringing up some questions here, and I'm talking about the claim. Why do I believe this claim when I don't believe the claim in object number 2? This photo counts as good evidence for my father's claim because it is accompanied by trust. So this is totally different than my other objects, and faith that is a result of a personal relationship. When my dad sent me this photo, I trusted that he was not lying to me. I trust him because I've known him for my life, my whole life, and do not believe that he would lie to me about something like this. But apparently he lied to me about other things. I don't know. Sorry, Dad. Additionally, I have a reason to believe that my dad can meet a celebrity. I know that my dad often speaks for big crowds, though this doesn't mean he would be likely to meet someone like Seth Meyers. It's not a stretch to think that Meyers would be speaking at a large group similar to ones my dad speaks at. By using logic and reasoning as a way of knowing, my faith in my dad being honest is justified. So I've got a couple of TOK terms here. Logic and reasoning, that's an old way of knowing, and that is a way that we know every day. My faith, that's a way of knowing as well. And my dad being honest is justified. So we didn't have reasons to justify belief in the photo in object number 2. But in this, when I have a personal relationship, logic, and faith, I can believe a single photo that might be questionable. So while a single photo may not always be good justification for a claim, when a photo is accompanied with trust, and there is justified reasoning for that trust to exist, it may be considered good. So what I've done there, again, is I've come back to the prompt, but I've also established why this object is different from the other. So I have now successfully explored the title in 3 different ways that are completely unrelated, but they give me a good knowledge of the idea of evidence and what makes it good. So that's how the TOK exhibition works. If you want to download other examples like this, there's a link on the side, there's a link on the bottom, and if you need some extra help, I know that for some of you guys this is coming up real soon, go ahead and get with me on Fiverr. I love to help you out. My packages, they start cheap. I can help you out. And you know, my prices are, I don't even know what my prices are right now, but if you need just a little bit of feedback, I'm able to help. If you are screwed and it's due like tomorrow, yeah, I can't help you in 12 hours. But if you need a lot of help, I got a big help package. We can Zoom. I can look at it 3 times and I'll really help you out. So with that said, I hope TOK sucks a little bit less than it did yesterday. I'll see you next time. Bye.